Mitch here with Pico Lures. So one of the things I've done my whole life is clean fish since I was like 6, 7 years old. I realized that working with all of y'all out there during this COVID thing, many of you fished for the very first time ever in your life, and you've caught some fish and you'd like to know how to get them ready for the table. So I know there's all the videos in the world on how to do one as fast as possible, but until you understand what you're doing with a fish, you can't get to that point. You can't start on top. So first things we need to understand is the anatomy of a fish. Okay, so you have this fish right here, and then this is what's inside of him. I've taken this very sharp Smith's knife here. I've removed all the meat and left all the bones intact. So we have the backbone of the fish runs right straight down the middle of it. All of the fins are attached to a fish, going into the flesh of the fish with their own little bones. So this is not all one complex structure. The only thing really attached to the backbone are the rib bones. This is your rib cage right here that you hear everybody talking about cutting the ribs out. This is your rib cage. Your internal organs are down here on the bottom. So they've got a sac of their own. So understand how this fish is put together, and you know where to put your knife and where not to put your knife. So, and you can get all the meat off without destroying the meat and without making a very big mess. Okay, so now I'm going to show you kind of a base method for cleaning the fish with a standard fillet knife. Now this is a Smith Products fillet knife. It's very sharp. They come very sharp. So that actually sharp knife is better to clean a fish with. So we're going to come in here right behind those gills like we showed you over there. We're going to cut into that fish right down to the spine, but not through it. Don't want to ever cut through their backbone if you can help it. Cut right around, kind of gill plate that thing, and remember that fin on the bottom, we want to come right in front of it because there's a big bone right there. With all that done, we want to take our knife right here and come in and just feel our way. Come right down that fin, use that fin as your guide right there, and you want to feel your way right down the backbone as you come down through that. Every time that knife blade goes in right there, I'm feeling the rib cage going right down through that. And when I hit this point right here where I don't feel that rib cage anymore, I want to go all the way through my fish right here, and I see my knife come out right here on top of this fin to fin, right across the top of that backbone. So now I can just let this knife slide right down the backbone, and don't go crazy here because you want to leave this attached at this tail. You want to come right down to the tail right there and then stop. Leave that piece of skin right there on that tail. Now I'll flip this thing back up here now. I can see all my meat in there, and just let this knife just glide right down that right there, and it just starts separating all that meat from the bone right there until all I've got right there left is what's attached to the ribs. Now myself, I like to separate my rib meat after I've got my fish out. See how that knife will come in the backside right there and just come right on through that rib cage. Take the ribs right out of that fish. Now we just take and just lay this back over here, leave our eggs in there, and just take that side right off right there. Stay away from that bottom fin right there, leave those bones in. Now you got your slab of meat laying here, but we left that attached. So now we can take this knife and lay it into the meat without going through the skin, and just allow that knife blade to just work back and forth and just stay on the skin and not in the meat. Just see how this is doing? There's nothing but skin there. We're just gonna let that float right through there like that. And now we have taken the meat off of the fish, left a little piece right there. Got a little bone in it too. So now we've got our base fillet right here, but we still have the ribs in it. So that you can see all of these rib bones right here. Just take your fillet knife, come right around through it like that. There's actually a lateral line in the fish that runs at the top of this. So if there's a little piece of meat left on top of this rib cage, it's not very good to eat anyway. Now we've got our main piece of meat right here, and we're going to get us a little bonus piece of meat. Now this is a little piece of fin fat right here on the bottom. Help you get that ready for the plate. Saw that off. It'll be white. You'll recognize that. Now you've got your ribs laying here. Mash them down just a little bit. Lay this knife on there. Let it slide a little bit until you've got through the meat. but don't cut through the ribs. Then just kind of lay it over on its side and let that knife just kind of float right down that rib cage like that. And you've got a nice little bonus fillet from the top of your ribs. Perfect thing to heat your skillet up with. Throw that to the kids and the wife. It's called fish chips. Great little piece of meat.
I like to turn the backs toward me, come in at an angle behind the gill, run down the backbone, flip it over, take the hide off, and lay the fish over. And that time I went all the way through the tail, so if that happens, no problem. Just hold the end of it with your finger, get it started, come off. Some people try to do the boning out with the electric knife, but I just grab a fillet knife, and instead of trying to save that little bit of rib meat and the large volume of fish that I clean, I just cut it out a V around the deal and do it like that. You can cut it at an angle. I'll let Mitch do that one. And now you got your two big fillets.